Welcome everybody to Video 2 in Studio Ghibli Week. Today's review will be of Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind on Bluray Steelbook, and this is one of the earlier Studio Ghibli films, and more on that in a second. So this is based on a manga of the same name that came out in 1982, which was one of the main series in an anime magazine. I think it was called Animage, which was founded by Isao Takahata, who also produced the film and became one of the integral members of Studio Ghibli, as we know. And as we know, Studio Ghibli didn't become its title until 1985, but this is still considered by many as a Studio Ghibli film, that being in the box set and even in the series. As you can see, it's up there as well, and it's considered the first in the Studio Ghibli DVD set. So first I'd like to talk about the plot, and there's a lot there, so I'll not go into too much detail. It's a very complex kind of story. Basically it's a post-apocalyptic kind of film, set 1,000 years after the 7 Days of Fire, which caused a destruction of the civilization and spawn of a toxic jungle where there's lots of beasts and different creatures that live there. And we follow Nausicaa, who's the princess of the Valley of the Wind, which is a home settlement. There's all different home settlements after this, and this is theirs, just trying to get along and survive. After a cargo aircraft crashes in the Valley of the Wind, it isn't long before invaders come in, trying to get this giant warrior that was on board, so it seems, back. And from there there's the rest of the film, which basically looks at the creatures within the beast in the jungle, the dangers of that, how it's infecting the environment with all this going on, and all the different conflicts of the different tribes, the different home settlements, trying to battle over ownership and territory. So it does have a lot of complex themes in there, and I don't want to spoil the plot. You really need to see it yourself. Personally, this is one of my absolute favourites, and it is one of the most successful Studio Ghibli films, and at the time it was explosive, with lines piling up to see the film, and it definitely set up the studio for the coming years, and especially Hayao Miyazaki, who had already made a great film, The Castle of Cagliostro, and that was also a success. And this film was very exciting for its time, being all action-packed and high in fantasy and adventure, especially so early on in the 80s. What really makes the film work so well is just the complex message of environmentalism that the film has, and also violence and territorial war, which kind of relates to our own world that we live in. Everybody is fighting for something, whether or not they think it's good. It's hurting the environment, other inhabitants, which happens to be here, the insects in the toxic jungle. The insects can become blind with rage, which is a metaphor for our own world and violent nature that we just don't stop at nothing. In the film we discover that the insects are dangerous and violent and considered a threat to the people there due to their inhabitants and where they're from in the toxic jungle. Nausicaa likes to explore the toxic jungle in the hopes that she'll find cures and stuff like that in there. There's a lot going on in the film that makes it truly engaging. While you're thinking about all the themes and the characters, you also get that terrific sense of action with all the really well drawn backgrounds and all the really well drawn action sequences as well, which I'm sure wasn't easy at the time. It never would be, and it never will be easy to do, and they just pulled it off really well. Very good editing, very good drawings, and I would say special effects, but you know what I mean, just the way things have been drawn, all the effects have been drawn. It's a real contrast to other Ghibli works like Totoro, Spirited Away, Kiki's Delivery Service, and that is with its colour scheme and complete tone. It's more of a serious film, I would definitely say, compared to something like Totoro or Kiki. And you can just see with the colours and the textures within the film, there's lots of yellows and browns and, this very grungy kind of look. You think it's very unattractive and ugly, this yellow kind of desert post-apocalyptic look, and it really fits the theme. But there's also times when the animation is still beautiful, I think. But it does capture that post-apocalyptic kind of society, so the colour scheme fits them well. But there's little scenes where everything looks really beautiful, such as the little scenes like Nausicaa with her plants underground in the little basement area, where she's keeping toxic flowers. It turns out the soil is what's toxic and ruining the flowers, but if you put them in pure water, they will flourish and become not toxic. And that was a really nice scene because it was a real contrast to what was outside, which made it really beautiful to see. And then there's other scenes as well. The shots of her flying around are really beautiful as well. They're quite breathtaking in a sense, just the way they're drawn, and she's going through when her is blowing and all that sort of thing. There's lots of shots up in the sky too, which look really nice. And the Blu-ray gives absolute justice to this, and it looks fantastic. I mean, again with Totoro, I watched that on a download, and I mean, just such a difference. I'll never go back to seeing them in other quality versions. They don't. It doesn't really matter what quality you see in it because the animation will still look beautiful, but Blu-ray really takes advantage of it. And the good thing about Blu-ray is, with animation, it always makes everything stick out more and makes you see animation even more beautiful, so it really enhances it, I would say. And as for the Steelbook itself, I'll get into the special features soon. The Steelbook itself is really nice. I love the artwork on the back here. You've got her here, and then she's on the front with a little ohm thing. And then inside you've got the box art, where she's got the mask on, and the discs. And so it's Blu-ray and DVD also, which is nice. Excuse me. So yeah, there's pretty good special features in this that I really enjoyed. You've got the complete storyboards, which is, it's the entire storyboards. If you're interested in doing that, you stick the film on, and in the bottom right hand corner it'll show you the storyboards of everything that you're seeing, which I think's pretty damn cool. But I wouldn't want to watch it. Maybe I will sometime, but I think that's really cool to know that there's all the storyboards throughout the whole thing. And when you look at the storyboards, you realise, how they're needed to conceptualise things. Get an insider's look at the film's artistry, the birth of Studio Ghibli featurette, which was really good. It was a half an hour long, and I covered all the films right up to Princess Mononoke. It was really nice to watch, and it also looked at how the Studio Ghibli got their name, which is interesting. Original Japanese theatrical trailer, Studio Ghibli trailer reel, and also an audio commentary by, I haven't heard of them personally, and I couldn't say their names. And also an interview with Toshio Suzuki and Hideaki Anno, and behind the microphone, which looks at the voice acting of the film. Interview with Toshio Suzuki is Suzuki. I didn't watch this myself. Suzuki is one of the members of Studio Ghibli, one of the producers, I believe, but he's one of the main founders of Studio Ghibli. So in terms of special features, good deal again, because the problem I didn't like with the other releases is I was paying £8 or £9 for them, and I wasn't getting anything with them. There's no special features, so it's a good deal that they have all the stuff on the Blu-rays. That's it really. Nausicaa is one of my favourite films because of the complex themes that it tries to address, and that's what I like about it so much. It's just really action packed. It's a PG. I wouldn't recommend this for young children, but I'm pretty sure people will, of all ages will likely enjoy this, and I think for all the audiences, it does tackle a lot of those themes of environmentalism very well. So, highly recommend this one, 9 out of 10 again. Absolutely great film. Well, that was my review of Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. If you liked the video, comment below your thoughts on the film. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the videos for Studio Ghibli Week. And join us tomorrow for our first special guest. And stay tuned for more Studio Ghibli uploads afterwards. See you then, everybody, and thanks for watching.